Step back three. That's a good shot for three.
Stepping through off the window, good. Stepping through the raindrops and the finish on the right hand.
And then it's going to Boomers' way with back-to-back threes. The Boomers, a WNBL chance.
Round 8 of the Cygnett WNBL continues here at the State Basketball Centre. The Southside Flyers host the UC Capitals. Liam Ellison here alongside me is WNBL Championship winning coach Laurie Chiswick. Laurie, welcome back from the Christmas break.
It was a very short break, Liam. Hopefully all the players and the coaching staff had a bit of family time, ate lots of turkey, some seafood, and I'm sure most of them sure these two teams probably trained yesterday. Canberra would have traveled, and here we are, ready to go.
It was a very short break indeed for both these sides, and of course today is a big occasion because Sarah Blitzarves is playing her 250th WNBL game, Laurie, giving her life membership of the league.
It's so fantastic that Sarah has reached this milestone. It's her 14th season in the WNBL. We know she's an Olympian from the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, World Cup bronze medalist. She's won 2 championships, one with Bendigo and one with Southside. So very exciting evening for her today.
Absolutely is. Two-time champion for this team, and the Southside Flyers coming in full strength today, Laurie.
They are, and it's really good to see. If we just quickly check the ladder first, because there is some exciting news. Melbourne Boomers flip-flop to the top of the ladder with that outstanding victory that Southside have over the Bendigo Spirit. So we see that change as we enter into the new year. Boomers sitting right at the top.
That was a huge result. No doubt about it for Southside, who knock off Bendigo to the tune of nearly 30 points, 96-67. They prevailed over the previously undefeated Spirit. Some performance, Laurie. 57% from 3 from the Flyers.
It was amazing. I called that game. It was Kelsey Griffin's 200th game, and Southside were just phenomenal. They shot the ball, as you said, 57%, 50% field goal, but they had such depth, 40 points, and this just indicates the depth that this team has. 40 points came on the bench against Bendigo. Fantastic result for them.
They had 6 players in double figures for the ball game, led by who else but Lauren Jackson with 20 points, 13 boards, as she made the team of the week. The Capitals today will be in the yellow. There was a clash between the blue of the Flyers and the Capitals, who brought their away jerseys, so they kindly, thanks to the Southside Flyers, will be wearing the yellow jersey. So today's game can go ahead here at the State Basketball Centre. And the Capitals, meanwhile, will be missing the services of Emily Whittle-Harmon, Laurie.
And that's a big out for them in today's game, because you see as the starting lineup for the Southside Flyers, they've got some big players to match up against. Lauren Jackson, Thornton, Blitzarves. Who's going to match up against her? All really great in that starting lineup. And again, it's their depth. Carly Ernst against Bendigo, 13 points, 4 from 4 from the three-point line in 9.5 minutes, thank you very much. She was outstanding, so they do have an outstanding bench as well. But as I say, it's going to be a tough matchup for the Capitals without Whittle-Harmon there.
Certainly is. They have some weapons off the bench, that's for sure. And, of course, the imposing front court that the Capitals will have to look to try and take down. We'll have a look at their lineup now. As we mentioned, no Whittle-Harmon, so Alex Bunton will have a huge workload here tonight.
She was, and I thought she was a little bit quiet against Sydney. She pulled down some good boards, but only had 4 points, so she'll need to really have an impact on the scoring end and the defensive end. But what we see there, coming off the bench, we hope we get to see minutes. Front and center there, number 7, Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger. She hasn't suited up. She hasn't played yet. She hasn't hit the court. So hopefully we will see her in today's game.
That would be a huge addition to this team, who have had some chopping and changing lineups so far through the WNBL season, as Kristen Veal's team set to play here. State Basketball Centre once again, good crowd in attendance. Their Flyers winners of the last 2 in a row, 3 of their last 5, sitting in 4th position with a 6-3 record. The Capitals, as we know, still searching for their first victory of the season. But importantly, Ray Burrell, off a minutes restriction last game out, had 27 points in that loss versus Sydney, Laurie.
She was great. She was really trying to get it done for her team, and she got some good rebounds too. She was really instrumental, and she is going to have that sort of input in tonight's game if the Capitals have any chance of knocking off this strong, powerful Southside Flyers.
Fans on their feet, ready to go here in Melbourne. The Flyers and the Capitals. And Jackson wins it down for Southside. Rochi straight away, easy two, and Blitzarves in her 250th with the first points.
That's a nice way to start a milestone game for Sarah, but just a real miscommunication on the part of the Canberra Capitals.
Not the perfect start here. Here's Nicole Munger for the Capitals. Melbourne down low to Bunton. Averaging just under 5 dimes per game. Jade Melbourne drives on Rochi, denied by Blitzarves. Good defense Southside. Rochi the other way. Thornton runs straight into the Capitals, and it's going to be an offensive foul. Stop for the Capitals. Referees in today's contest: Brad Henshaw, Josh Duran and Shannon Jennings. And Burrell with the basketball.
I'm not surprised that we see Thornton matched up on Burrell. Thornton did an unbelievable job on Kelsey Griffin, keeping her to 10 points, the superstar, in their last game against Bendigo. And she just looks to deny her players.
Munger missing on the mid-range J. Rochi moving it quickly. Blitzarves picks up her dribble. Rochi to reset. Here is that matchup, Thornton and Burrell. LJ at the top, provides the pick for Cole. Now she gets her shot away, a little short.
Good execution by the Flyers. They were trying to get it through hands, trying to look at different options.
Melbourne, straight to the rack, Jade Melbourne. Tough first bucket for the Capitals.
Really tough, really good push by Jade Melbourne, almost coast to coast there.
Rochi. Thornton, top of the three-point arc. Nice pass, Blitzarves to the rack.
Just a nice use of that screen, curling around, extending that arm on the finish. Really great for Sarah Blitzarves.
Her 9th season in Southside and Dandenong colours of her 14 in the Cygnett WNBL. Bunton with a handoff, and we're headed the other way.
Just a bit of a moving screen by Bunton. Once she handed it off, she just shifted her body over and was called for a moving screen.
Cole to inbounds. Melbourne and Rochi. Two great young point guards in this league. Here's Thornton at the elbow. LJ at the free throw line. Nice take. Good opening for the Flyers. Jackson averaging 16.5 points per game this season. And Swain misses on the baseline too.
You can see on every single rebound the push that the Flyers are trying to get up the floor, extend that offense to see what they can get in the early early seconds of the shot clock.
Thornton missing there at the low block. Munger. Hand off to Swain. Now Melbourne around the pick. Bunton rolling to the hoop. Just missing. So Rochi can turn and go. Slingshot offense. Cole. Blitzarves on the follow. And she gets the call. Nice start for Sarah Blitzarves, who will head to the charity stripe for 2.
You have to really like the endeavor that Southside are playing with right now. The way they are pushing the ball. The point guards are getting the ball up the floor. The guards are streaming down the wings, staying nice and wide, forcing the defense to have to make some decisions.
Good on the first, Sarah Blitzarves. Made her debut in December of 2009, playing for the AIS. And her 250th game today for the Flyers. Good opening, 3 minutes into this contest for the home side. Munga. Melbourne wants the screen. 5-second shot clock. Britt Smart got to go. Turnover. Poked away from the south side. And Rochi will reset. Thornton's posting up. Has a mismatch. Backs it out. Rochi for three. There's a timeout on the floor.
That was a great pass inside to Thornton by Maddie Rochi. She had a mismatch on there. And then the defense completely collapsed, and Thornton just went, we're shooting the ball well. I'm going to pass it back outside to Rochi, and she rewards her teammate with an assist and scores the three.
11-2 opening in this ball game for the Southside Flyers. Rolling 4 minutes into this one. Early timeout from Kristen Veal. And this one is brought to you by CTM Sport. If you're considering travelling interstate for any tournaments for your basketball team in the coming months, consider CTM Sport for a competitive and customised travel solution that puts your team on top. Visit ctmsport.com.au. And the first couple of minutes, Laurie, it felt like the Capitals were right in this ball game, but all of a sudden, a few possessions, back-to-back buckets for Southside, and already the 11-2 opening.
Well, I think the Capitals right now are getting pushed around by the Flyers. The Flyers are being really physical, taking them out of their offense, pushing them so they have to catch the ball further away from the three-point line in order to start their offense or get any movement. So they really have to make sure that they're strong with their leads, they're aggressive with their cuts, and they don't take a backward step to the Flyers.
So here we go. Opting with the same five. Flyers pressing up in defense. Into Smart. Has Cole right there. Down low to Bunton. Great matchup between these two, Jackson and Bunton. Switching. Jackson comes up with a steal. Releases to Rochi. Capitals back in defense, and the long floater for Maddie Rochi. Flyers keep on rolling here at the State Basketball Centre. Thought about gambling for the steal. Hand off to Swain. Rolling to the hoop. No good from the free throw line. And the foul call as well on Shanice Swain.
Probably not a bad foul in that at least it stopped the transition, the flow that the Southside Flyers are running right now, and really attacking early.
Flyers 5 of 8 from the field here, early days. Blitzarves handoff. Cole driving on Tonks, pulls up. Shots keep dropping for the Flyers. Melbourne trying to stem the flow here for her team. Regain some momentum for the Capitals. Blitzarves pokes it out.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Sarah just got her hand in there for a deflection, trying to force her to catch the ball further and further from the three-point line.
13-second shot clock, Melbourne. Pressured by Rochi. Munga for three. They needed that, the Capitals. Now Thornton manning the offense. Has Rochi at the top. LJ on the low block. Has position on Bunton. Hits back iron.
Good defense by Bunton there. Just kept her hands straight up.
Played a hugely important role in the Keyway this season for the UC Capitals, especially with no Whittle Harmon today. Tonks loses it there. Blitzarves dumps it to Thornton. Has the size advantage on Munga. Pulls up from the free throw line. Good defense there from Munga.
What I liked the Flyers did there, when the ball went inside to Kayla Thornton, they basically cleared out that one side so there could be no help coming from the strong side wing, and gave her room to operate. She didn't hit the shot, but it was really good movement off that inside feed.
Their leading scorer by a slender margin this season, Kayla Thornton, averaging 16.4 a night. Potch and Conti come into the ball game for Cheryl Chambers' team. Swain will inbound. Abby Bishop as well has checked in. Here's Bunton. Needs some assistance. 7-second shot clock. Swain needs to make something happen for the Capitals. Driving. And 2 shots for Shanice Swain. Making something happen for her team.
Well, she did, and I liked how she wasn't afraid of Potch. And we see her. We know Potch has such long arms, she's got such great length, and she took it really strongly to the basket, and you know, didn't finish, but was rewarded by finding herself at the foul line.
Swain makes on the first. 56% shooter from the line so far this season. She goes 2 from 2. Rochi over to Bishop. Both these players not in uniform last time these two teams played, as Rochi straight to the rack.
That's just too easy from Canberra. It's you know, Melbourne was riding her the whole way, but there was no help, no split line help.
Melbourne step back 2 from the elbow, hits back iron. Conti with the rebounds. Down low to Bishop. Got some space in the keyway on Munger.
Good defense by Nicole Munger. Stood her ground, kept her arms straight. Was able to cause a turnover.
Couple of good defensive possessions in a row for her now, Munger. Bunton. Hand off to Swain. She hesitates. Goes the reverse.
Great little hesitation.
Rochi. Jackson moves it to Conti. Big screen from Bishop. Melbourne unfazed. Deep 3. Jackson's there, tight to the baseline. Couldn't get it past Shanice Swain. Looking to push the pace. And she's run out of real estate.
I like the energy that Swain has brought to the court since she's been subbed in. She's looking at attacking. She's really running, pushing the ball.
Played a big role all season, Shanice Swain, and at times a very undermanned lineup. 24 minutes a night, 11 points per game.
Well, to your point, Liam, that you made right at the start, that the Capitals haven't had a set lineup, you know, with injuries and whatever. Nice basket by Abby Bishop, but to your point, only Bunton, Pizzi, and Tonks have played all 9 games. Everybody else has missed 1 or 2 games.
That is a startling figure, really, Laurie, that you highlight. Haven't had the consistency as we've had an offensive foul. Southside ball.
Which means we don't see them on the court, but it also means they're not at training, which changes the dynamics of your training. So I'm sure Coach Veal will enjoy the day that everybody's back. Whittle Harmon's back on the court. Schwagmeyer, Belger's there full time. And everybody just can work together at training and transfer it into a game.
Schwagmeyer Belger in uniform today, so a chance to see her at some stage. Ernst at the line, rattles home. And that would be a huge addition to this team. Schwagmeyer Belger. As Ernst goes 2 from 2. Gets it into Swain. Potch tried to create the steal. Gets around Bishop, needs some assistance. Tonks. Now Swain in the corner. Pizzi's there with the pick. Munger pulls up for 2.
It's a nice steadying basket for Munger. She came off that screen looking to be a scorer, recognized the defense had dropped, and was a nice pull-up J.
She's been terrific since joining this Capitals lineup. Bishop steps out of range. Blitzarv's back out there. Moving it forward to Nicole Munger. Backs it out. Hand off to Swain. Pulls up for 3. Shanice Swain. Back to 10 points.
That's a bit of a steadying basket these last couple of minutes that the Capitals have needed. And there they get a cut off the back door cut and are pushing the ball up the floor. See if they can finish here.
Burrell reinserted into the fray. Second chance opportunity for the Capitals. Munga makes it from downtown. So back to a single-digit ball game after the Flyers have, well, it feels like, Laurie, have dominated for most of the opening period.
Oh, it certainly has. It's a great last few minutes for the Capitals, and
we're headed the other way. Capitals with another stop. So Potch will check out for Beck Cole. Small wins for the visitors. Flyers will press up. Melbourne looking to continue this momentum for the Capitals. Munga driving on Bishop, pulls up off the window, won't go.
It's about a 3-second differential between the shot and the clock and the shot clock.
Conti. Ernst is there for the screen. 6 seconds. Cole got to go. Went behind the screen. Makes them pay. 3 ball goes down for the Flyers. Swain, last second heave. And that'll do it for the end of the first. It is a 10-point ball game. The Flyers lead the Capitals here after 10 minutes of action. The Capitals with a little mini run there towards the end of the first, Laurie.
And I think, to me, that was mostly a product of Swain and her energy and what she brought to the court. So she pushed the ball, she penetrated and either, scored herself or was looking for her teammates at receiver spots, and it just seemed to get them moving. So I liked it when they inserted her into the lineup.
Leading scorer in this ball game, Shanice Swain, with 7 points, 2 steals as well, along with Maddie Rocci, who's got 7 for the Flyers. Sarah Blitzarves as well, and her 250th has 6.
I think she got those 6 points in the first minute of the game.
I think she did. Had the opening bucket right off the tip, Sarah Blitzarves. We've seen that a few times this season, actually, Laurie, the sort of defensive lapse off the opening tip.
But you can see, as I mentioned earlier, the intent of the Flyers to run and push the ball and see what they can score out of transition. They're doing a great job of that, and they're really getting their players involved, and that's what they did against Bendigo. They had a huge amount of assists and sharing the ball and went from good shots to great shots, and I think they're doing that here today as well.
For those who've joined us late, the Capitals with a little mini wardrobe malfunction today. The Flyers kind enough to lead some away strips, so the game will go ahead. If you're wondering why it's the yellow jersey for the Capitals. So second quarter just about underway. 10-point ball game. The last time these two teams played, it was a 20-point win to the Flyers in Lauren Jackson's return to the nation's capital, 92-72. The Flyers prevailed. And Southside shooting the ball at a very efficient clip so far here.
That's what I like about what they're doing. Their shot selection is really good. Nothing seems to be forced out there. If they don't have an early look, they're getting it through hands, setting some screens for each other, and are being really effective. And I think that's something Canberra absolutely need to do. Push the ball by all means, but if there's not something there, then get it out, set up into your structures, and really work to get each other open.
See what they can come up with here, the Capitals. Foul call on the Flyers. Swain straight away in to Alex Bunton. Brute Smart backs it out. Long range 2 for Bunton, won't go. Rocci will call the shots for Southside. Blitzarves cutting baseline. Rocci's can just turn and fire. Jackson was there, and Melbourne cleans it up. Tries to get around Thornton. Munga hands it off. Bunton with the pick. Retrieves it back from Melbourne. 5 seconds. Good opening from Shanice Swain. That's a contested two. Falls home.
I'd have to say that rattled home. That looked like it was in, out, in.
Up to 9 points, Shanice Swain. Back to an 8-point ball game. Melbourne paddled at it. Thornton off the window.
Canberra come out in a zone, both possessions there, and it was a good little high-low action between Thornton and Jackson.
Munga wants to release Shanice Swain. Again, she attacks hard down the keyway. Good defense from Beck Cole. Thornton, nice pass ahead. Blitzarves will slow it up. Thornton steps into a triple. Great offense from Southside.
Such a great kick ahead to Sarah Blitzovs, and Sarah wasn't quite able to get the best angle. Right back out to her teammate in Thornton, who rewards her with a 3.
So Rochi pokes it out. 12-second shot clock for the Capitals.
Cheryl Chambers would be very happy with the Southside defense right now, and it's something I know that they're focusing on, and I think they would have taken steps against Bendigo to hold them to their score, and she would want them to continue. Doesn't matter who you're playing against, you want to make sure that you're putting some tough defense against them.
Swain missing on the corner 3. Britt Smart fighting hard down low, and shot clock expires.
Something Southside did a really great job, as well as shooting the ball against Bendigo. They kept the offensive machine of Annalie Maley to 0 offensive rebounds. So they did a great job of focusing on blocking out.
That's an extraordinary stat as Thornton. That one rattles out. Rochi on the O-glass, 2 shots. The Flyers are winning the rebounding category here, early days as well. Great opening to this ball game for Maddie Rochi.
And you can just see that example there. Jade Melbourne went for the ball instead of getting her body on Rochi to begin with. So therefore, the smallest player on the court was able to come up with it. Second chance opportunity, got fouled, and goes to the line.
Makes on the second. 5th rebound of the ball game for Maddie Rochi in this early stage of the second quarter. Flyers have 3 offensive boards as well. Smart inbounds to Tonks. Blitzarves defending the rock. Thornton switches on to Swain. Has Bunsen down low. Hands it back to Swain. She's probing inside, needs some assistance, loses it. Now Blitzarves. Flyers ball. Of course, 2020 Olympian Sarah Blitzarves in Tokyo, crucial member of that bronze medal winning team. And she chalks up game 250 here this evening at the State Basketball Centre. Blitzarves in the corner. Little strong. Rochi again on the O-glass. Hands it back to Blitzarves.
So even though you're in a zone, which the Capitals were, you have to find a body. A shot goes up, you have to find a body in the zone. And even though you don't have one because you're a zone, but what a great finish. Forget about defense right now for the Capitals. Great drive by Swain, sorry.
Awesome aggression from Shanice Swain. She's into double figures, 11 points. 4 of 9 from the field. And they needed this, Laurie.
Well, she's the real shining light right now for the Capitals. And I'm always amazed that, you know, these young players, she's 19 years old, and it's been extraordinary this year how some of the really younger players have really stepped up and been shining lights in their teams' games and throughout the season so far.
Some great young talent coming through. As Swain converts on the continuation, she'll take a break. 13-point margin. 7 minutes to go before the main break. Blitzarves. Rochi calling the shots for the Flyers. Blitzarves open from the 45. Jackson crashing in over the top. And that's a foul call on LJ. Her first. Thornton, the only player with 2 personals in this ball game. Southside again pressing up. Into Smart. Just 3 scorers so far in this ball game, the Capitals. Nicole Munger, one of them with 5. Bunton comes with a screen. Jackson switches onto her. And Southside with the stop. Rochi steps into a mid-range too. Long rebound favours Munger. They've got the numbers here, the Capitals. Tonks hovering around at the 3-point line. Bunton's there.
That was a good recognition. I thought maybe they were going to pull it out and run something, but Bunton had really worked hard to get position and get an inside look.
Bunton with her first bucket. Thornton over the top of the offensive glass. Cole to the hoop.
Those second chance opportunities are really hurting the Capitals right now. You do a great job of forcing a contested shot. You've got to find a body and block out and make it one and done.
Burrell, long range 2. They've got 5 offensive rebounds already, the Flyers. Rochi hands it off to Cole. Thornton can step into a wide open triple. Just won't go. Blitzarves working hard. Rochi's there. Goes straight at Burrell and draws contact. So Maddie Rochi will go back to the 3-throw line, where she's 1 of 2 so far this evening. First personal on Ray Burrell. And a timeout on the floor here. So the Flyers protecting that lead, 34-21, halfway through the second. And this timeout is brought to you by Cygnett. To stay connected with the latest WNBL news and social highlights, keep your favourite tech charged up at home or on the go with Cygnett's extensive range of charging products and accessories. A big thanks to Cygnett for powering the WNBL so far this season. Our major partners here. Explore their range at cygnett.com. Shanice Swain being the star so far in this ball game, Laurie, with 12 points. 4 of 9 shooting, but it's been the rebounding column where Southside have really dominated.
Well, it's been the rebound column and also the turnovers. The Capitals have 8 turnovers. And I think that's a product of the way the Southside Flyers are playing their defense. They're up and they're in the passing lanes, they're getting fingertips, deflections. But the Capitals need to make sure that they take care of the ball. So if that means slowing it down a little bit, getting through some work to get each other open. I mean, they're, you know, to take them one-on-one, the Flyers, there's some pretty good defenders out there. So they need to work together and make sure that they're not turning the ball over. They're getting a good look at the basket every single time.
The Flyers, meanwhile, have had plenty of good looks, shooting just under 50% from the field. They'll opt with the lineup of Blitzarves, Jackson and Thornton.
Of course, that's easier said than done, what I've just mentioned, especially with the Flyers and their, you know, the tall group that they've got on. It's a tough matchup.
Rochi missing on the first. Rochi up to 9 points now in the ball game.
Yes, that's one little area of her game that she could certainly improve, having, you know, only shooting it at 55% for the season so far.
Foul call there. Goes against Melbourne. Excuse me, against Maddie Rochi.
Jade Melbourne's been quiet so far this game, only having 2 points and really only taking 3 shots. She probably needs to see the ball in her hand a little bit more, whether that's an on-ball screen for her coming off a screen, but they need to get her involved.
Here is Melbourne. Cherie Kalia checking in for her first minutes as well for the Capitals. 14-point ball game. Bunton with the screen. Rewards Bunton, slicing to the hoop. And Blitzarves cleans it up. Flyers launching an offensive. Beck Cole, offensive foul. Looks to be on Jackson. And that'll be number 3. So we will see LJ take a break as Bishop replaces her. Got tangled up there with Kalia. Melbourne directing traffic for the Capitals.
I don't think we'll see Jackson the rest of this quarter, that's for sure.
I think you might be onto something, Laurie. 9-second shot clock for Canberra. Melbourne draws the foul. Ray Burrell to inbound. 9 seconds. Melbourne in the corner. Double screen for Burrell. Runs straight into Bishop. Has to go. Burrell heaves nearly off the window, but extra possession Canberra. Melbourne. Long triple. And nearly keeping it in there was Pizzi. Empty trip for the Capitals. So Ray Burrell played just the 7 minutes so far in this game, Laurie, after putting up 27 in the last ball game. Perhaps still on a minutes restriction. Cole going at Burrell. Tried to get it to Thornton. Pizzi did well. Releases Kalia. Burrell cutting baseline, Melbourne. Moving it quickly at the Capitals. Burrell trying to get open. Melbourne loses Conti momentarily. They double her. Pizzi steps out her range. And Bunton slaps it out, but it favours Bishop. So Blitzarves can slow it up. Tried to find the cutting Blitzarves. Turnover.
Right idea, just didn't quite have eye contact, and that's one thing when you, in Sarah's instance there, when you cut, you must cut to score every time. Whether you get the ball or not doesn't matter, but you cut to score.
Melbourne slowed up the Southside offense to an extent so far this quarter. The Capitals, Melbourne showing some aggression. Conti ahead to Thornton. Transition points for Southside. Nearly the steal on Burrell. Clear manning point for Canberra. Burrell hands it over to Melbourne. Bunton diving to the hoop. Foul call on Conti.
What a luxury it is for Southside to have your top scorer in Thornton as your better defender as well. So she was on Kelsey Griffin. She's on Burrell, who we know had big numbers last game against Sydney, and she's shutting them down. So great to have an import that can play so solidly at both ends of the court.
Just the 2 field goal attempts so far in this ball game for Ray Burrell. Thornton, on the other hand, has 5 points, 4 boards, as Melbourne misses on the first. Under 3 minutes to go here in this second quarter. And Melbourne splits a pair. So Conti, around a month into her return into the WNBL now for Southside. After joining the team late. Dallas Luffridge going down, of course, before the season began. Conti for 3, won't go.
Well, initially the signing of Conti was because of Dallas and bringing her in as a replacement. But as it's turned out, with Amy Rott, she has been out with a back injury and is probably going to be out for an extended period of time. It now became a very important signing, and she's a crucial part of this team.
Melbourne, nice floater.
Little hesitation there. Melbourne was able to just get her defense off balance.
Potch. Now Bishop. Carly Ernst, long range triple. No surprises. Goes down for Cully Ernst.
No surprise. You do not leave her open at the three-point line. That's the shot she wants. That's the shot she's going to make.
Extends the lead to 16. Melbourne. Nice pass. Pizzi off the window. Just falls out. And Southside ball. Unlucky maybe for the Capitals.
Beck Pizzi is certainly playing more minutes this season than she has in the past. She's averaging 14 minutes, but she's just building with confidence. And every time she comes out now, she's more assertive. She's more confident in what she's doing at both ends of the court, and it's really good to see.
Bunton and Bishop on the low block. Fade away. Not that time for Bishop. Second rebound of the contest for Alex Bunton. Melbourne hesitates on the reverse. Pizzi's there on the O-glass. And jump ball. It'll be Flyers ball. Nadia Poch back out there as well for Cheryl Chambers' team. Last time these two met, she had her best game of the season. 16 points, 2 steals. Cole dumps it down low. Bishop tried to thread the needle. Nearly got there. Munga saw better of it. Gets it ahead. Kalia. Pizzi will have to back it out. Less than a minute to go now in this first half. Melbourne slashing to the hoop. 8 seconds. Long range three. Kalia too strong. So shot clock ahead of the game clock. Conti will run the set for the Flyers. Six seconds, got to go. Cole. Conti is going to have to heave. That's a deep triple. Long rebound for Kalia. And Munga, maybe one last opportunity. Foul call on Poch. So won't be much time left, you'd think, Laurie. Flyers heading to the bench. We might be walking down for 3 throws to end this first half. Munga to the line.
.3 of a second left on the clock.
4 of 5 as a team so far in the game. From the line, the Capitals. And Nicole Munga has been shooting, well, 100% so far this season, yet to miss a 3 throw.
I didn't want to say anything. Oh, Liam.
Of course.
Liam.
Of course.
Oh, 14 out of 14 she's been. Now
So
14 out of 15.
makes on the second and brings it back to a 15-point margin at the half. The Flyers 40 leading the Capitals 25. In a lower scoring second quarter. Flyers in control here on their home floor, but Capitals still within reaching distance, Laurie.
Well, they are. You never know, another whole 20 minutes of the second half, but you feel like the Flyers, they're really confident in what they're doing. They're playing some great defense, which I know is going to be a focus. But the Capitals just have to go back, regroup, try and get a few more shots up there. They're very, low in the number of shots. They've only taken 30 shots.
So leaders so far in this one, 12 points off the bench for Shanice Swain. And that's been the story so far for the Capitals, who have had their struggles on the glass, as you mentioned, Laurie, but she's been a star off the pine.
Well, she hasn't, and she came in with energy, scoring in some different ways, trying to get her teammates open by penetrating and pitching it out. But really, it was the second chance points of Southside. The rebounds, as we talk about, were really dominant out there, and Capitals will have to talk about that. But it's a long time. A second half, a lot can change.
Even scoring spread for the Flyers, leading the rebounding contest as well. Maddie Rocci has 9 points in the ball game. Sarah Blitzarves in her milestone night has 8 as well. Stick around, second half not far away. It's the Flyers by 15.
before quarter time. Great handles there from Potch. What a step. What a young star she is.
Wow.
Melbourne just need a bucket. Wallace down the lane, extra pass. Mia Murray in the corner. 3-ball drops. Murray's got 32, and we are tied up at the State Basketball Centre.
And I got goosebumps. Mia Murray, take a bow.
It just seems like there's a lack of energy right now with Bendigo. They need somebody to spark them. Maybe it'll be this Kelly Wilson basket.
Oh, my word! Orton sends it 4 rows deep.
How was this blocked?
Oh, timing personified. 8 to shoot for Rochi for Jackson, who makes it look so easy.
Yes.
Carly Ernst, not again. Oh my gosh. Can't stop it.
Davidson inside the paint. Murray, extra pass. George for 3.
Put that one on repeat.
Prepare your taste buds.
Hungry?
Famished.
For 6 delicious nights on 9.
Dare to replicate the snack.
Australia's best chefs. Head to head, recreating our most iconic snacks.
I think I stuffed this up. Get it together. I know you've got this.
It looks like salt and pepper calamari.
New Snack Masters. Stream the latest episodes on 9 now.
You know, they don't teach MPI schools how to get the money shot.
They're undercover.
What are you doing?
That is how you get the money shot.
Cracking cases
Nothing says I'm stalking you like a hidden camera.
the old-fashioned way. Jason Priestley.
Are you nuts?
It's a rental.
Private Eyes. Stream complete seasons on 9 now.
Who is the coach's favourite?
From Australia, the Nasty Coconuts and
Can the bromance reignite?
The show must go on.
Summer's greatest epic is coming.
So baby, in 90 days, we're gonna be husband and wife.
I was with her for 5 days, and then I proposed to her.
She's so eager to be in love, she lets red flags just go.
People say 19-year-old, she's just using you. Maybe she could be.
90 Day Fiancé. Get your summer streaming on 9 now.
Hi Hoopers, I'm Tess Madgen. I'm so excited to be offering virtual masterclasses this school holidays with She Hoops. Starting on the 9th of January at 5:30 p.m. every Monday night, In this 5-week series, we will be delivering a range of basketball skills. I will also take you through a number of mobility skills designed to keep your body active and engaged. And the best part is that it's free. Go to shehoops.com.au to register now and secure your spot.
Expect the unexpected. It's summer's greatest show.
Best point of the match.
And he is the greatest showman.
What an athlete.
What a play. King Nick leads the Aussie assault.
This one is for country.
Ladies and gentlemen, take your seats.
The truth is,
you're always better off with a really good lie.
Pretty Little Liars. Get your summer streaming on 9 Now.
Can everyone line up?
Make Brixmas Medlow your mind.
That's a really great hip one.
Who will be Brixmas champion?
Deck the halls with something, something.
Stream now on 9 Now. It's the biggest WNBL season yet, and superstar Lauren Jackson returns. Turn it up. Don't miss a block, basket, or game winner.
Does not steal the win.
WNBL, live on 9 Now.
Looking for something to keep the kids entertained these school holidays?
Listen to the roar of that crowd.
Come and watch Australia's elite female basketballers in action as they battle it out for championship glory in the Cygnett WNBL.
Good! That's a good shot.
Tickets available now. To book your seat, visit WNBL.com.
Veronica, why does trouble follow you around?
Veronica Mars, get your summer streaming on 9 Now.
For over a century, I have lived in secret until now.
What are you? The Vampire Diaries. Get your summer streaming on 9 Now.
Flyers and the Capitals to 15-point margin at the main break. Flyers have been pretty dominant on the glass and 13 assists as well. Well, they're second in the league, Laurie Chiswick, with 21 a night. Once again, that has been a factor here in this ball game.
Well, it has, especially when you compare to the Capitals that only have that 3 assists. And That means the Southside Flyers are really sharing the ball around, looking to get each other open, and that's also projected in the spread of scoring that we've got right now. Maddie Rocci 9, Sarah Blitzov's 8, a couple with 7. So it's a real team effort at both ends of the court.
7 different scorers so far for the Flyers. Second half ready to go here. Shanice Swain leading the way with 12 points for the Capitals. And in that second quarter, they held the Flyers to 16, lost the quarter by 5, the Capitals. But keeping in touch after they were down by as much as 16 in the opening minutes of this ball game. Melbourne to start it off for the Capitals. Munga. 6-point opening for her. Rocci right up in the grill of Melbourne. Finds Swain cutting to the hoop.
Now, I liked that. There was such great ball and player movement. They had the defense having to chase players. Somebody lost their vision, and it was a great backdoor cut by Swain and an easy basket. Great start for the Capitals.
Blitzovs hands it to Rocci. She dumps it down low. Jackson on the fadeaway.
Not much more Bunting could do on that. That catch on the baseline, fade away for Jackson. It's just, that's trademark. Very difficult to defend.
She sat at the end of the second with 3 personals, Lauren Jackson. Here's Munga. Melbourne around the Bunsen pick, cutting to the hoop. Thornton got a hand in. 15-point lead to the Flyers. Thornton's on the low block. Melbourne comes over to double. Jackson steps out for 3. And Swain paddles it to the advantage of Munga. Foul call on Thornton. That'll be her 3rd personal.
Canberra appear to come out, have a lot of positivity in what they're doing now. And that's what you need after you come out at halftime. You've probably got a little bit of a different game plan in place.
Swain on the wing. As Thornton defending her. It's a high compliment given her defensive pedigree, Kayla Thornton. Munga for 3, hits back iron. Rocci. Again moving it quickly. Cole. Down to the low block. Retrieves it back from Blitzovs. Turnover. Melbourne around the Bunsen pick. No look dime.
Woo!
And Bunsen misses.
Oh, that would have made the highlight reel had she made that basket.
Some pass. Rocci. Can the Flyers take advantage? Maddie Rocci. Big pass down low to Thornton, who's monstered. No call, says the referee. Clean defense. Capitals with the stop. Melbourne, 5 points in the ball game. Swain retrieves it back. Melbourne, count the bucket.
That's exactly what I said in the first half. Every time you cut to score. Now, they've done that same pass and shuffle cut numerous times. Melbourne has always sort of looked at the ball. She hasn't got it, but she got it that time. She finished strongly and won.
Jade Melbourne with the continuation 3-throw. 82% clip on the season. Makes no mistake. Trims the lead to 12. Capitals now in the last 17 minutes of basketball are in the lead since the opening stages of the first quarter. Thornton wide open from the top, a little short. Blitzovs was there. Capitals clean it up. Smart moves it forward via Swain. Driving on Thornton. Slowed up. That's a deep triple for Melbourne. And Thornton for Southside. Has Munga defending her. Beck Cole. Of course, just the 5-day break between rounds. As Cole worried out of it. Christmas in between, Laurie Chiswick. So it's been really a very busy time for some of these players between round 7 and 8.
Well, it has, and you know, everybody, you sort of talk about, oh, go away for the Christmas break, but in reality it's maybe 3 days off, and then you've really got to come straight back to training.
Rochi around the Jackson pick. Floater, Matty Rochi won't go. For many of these players as well with young families, Laurie, it's a very busy time of year. Melbourne whips it back out to Swain, driving hard to the hoop.
Well, there's four players, 3 on the Flyers and 1 for the Capitals that are mums. So they've got, whilst everybody has family, they have that probably that little extra bit of work to be doing too. And it's such a great time to spend with family and friends. So, but as elite athletes, you sign up for that. You know that that's the case when you know, you get the fixture out. You know you're going to be playing around Christmas. You know you might be playing on New Year's Eve.
Yep, the Townsville Fire will host the Boomers on New Year's Eve as well. So a busy holiday period for these athletes. No holiday, really. Here's Smart. Pulls up for 3. Brute Smart won't go. Would have brought it back to a single-digit margin. Rochi down low. Blitzarves taps it to herself. 2 shots.
What a great example of Sarah Blitzov's just using her body so well. She ran the floor, she got position. She initially had it the other way when Beck Cole switched it across, and then used her body, kept her seal, kept her pin, and was able to you know, get that pass and go up.
So Blitzarves will be at the free-throw line after this timeout, brought to you by DIY Blinds, to fit out your home with Australian-made designer quality window furnishings at the best prices as summer starts to really heat up around Australia. Head to DIYblinds.com.au to order your free samples today. And Blitzarves draws the foul in the keyway there, Laurie Chiswick, and they're leading the points in the paint column as well, Southside, 22-10. No surprises with the imposing front court that they possess.
Well, no surprises at all, and you know, you would think the Flyers should go inside a lot because of their height advantage, but because they're such great shooters too, they've had a really good combination of getting the ball inside. If it's not there, somebody like Thornton will just have no problem having vision, flicking it back out to a 3-point shooter. She's got 4 assists right now, and it's a really good combination.
Leading the game in the assist column is Kayla Thornton. 6 boards, 7 points. She'll be on the bench, though, with 3 personals as we come out of this timeout. Potch will re-enter the fray. Swain has 14 now in the ball game for the Capitals. And Sarah Blitzarves to shoot 2. You've had a bit to do with it.
Sorry, Liam, you said Thornton on the bench, and there you bring in the experienced Abby Bishop to replace her. It's just, that is just the depth of Southside. They've got really 10 legitimate players that can come on, and you know, you talk about bench players, but in fact they've just got 10 legitimate stars on their team.
They certainly bat deep. Swain has Blitzarves right there. Bunton releases, she drives to the rack, and Jackson gets a hand in. Rochi slingshots the other way, crossing over to Blitzarves, and she loses her footing.
Munger did a great job of keeping attached to Sarah, keeping her in front, moving her feet laterally, because Sarah's explosive when she puts the ball on the floor, goes downhill to the basket. Great job, Nicole Munger.
Melbourne, it's a man point for the Capitals. Round 8 kicking off here at the State Basketball Centre. Of course, doubleheader tonight as well of the WNBL. Your ESPN Game of the Week kicking off not long after this one concludes. The Lightning and the Spirit. Here's Smart, open for 3.
That was nice action. Smart came off a staggered screen, had her feet set. That's a shot that she likes.
Now 2 of 12 from 3 today, the Capitals. Had some good looks, just hasn't fallen. Munger trips over Rochi. Remains a 14-point ball game now, halfway through the third. And Smart will take a break. Tonks checks in.
Certainly the pace that the Flyers have been scoring at. They've only scored 4 so far this quarter compared to 24 the first quarter and 16 the second quarter. So Canberra have done a good job of at least slowing that down, being a bit more disruptive.
Some mini wins there for sure. Blitzards will inbound, foul call. Last time these two teams played, Southside won 3 of the 4 quarters. But so far, the Capitals have been right in the ballgame since the early days, currently leading here in the third. No Schwagmeyer Belger so far. Whittle Harmon as well is out of uniform. Jackson on the low block. Just won't go. Bunsen dives on it. Nearly wrapped it up, and Melbourne will release for the Capitals. Probing from the top of the arc. Cross court, Tonks. Resets. 10-second shot clock. Melbourne trying to drive on Rochi. Burrell back out there for the Caps. And she's drawn the foul. So Burrell can bring up her first points of the contest at the line.
Just a little shot fake by Burrell, got Potch in the air, and she was able to step around and draw the foul.
Her first minutes of the second half here, Ray Burrell. Good on the first. Leading scorer for the Capitals with 15 a night. Despite some inconsistencies in availability due to injury. She goes 2 from 2. So back to 12. Blitzarves. Rochi at the logo. Wants movement. Jackson wide open. Makes it pay. Lauren Jackson puts it down. And that's her first triple of the evening.
Can't leave LJ open at the three-point line.
Certainly not. Got a lot of time to think about it. Burrell into the corner. Melbourne tries to drive. Rochi, foul call. That's her third.
Maddie Rochi plays such aggressive, up and in type defense. She, if a player puts the ball above her head, then she jams right in trying to get her hands all over it. Very cagey with her defense. I'm sure opponents would call it annoying. I'll call it cagey. She's a great defender.
She's high octane. There's a way you could describe it. Rochi in Melbourne. Runs into Jackson. 6 seconds. Munga from the top. Can't find the rim. Monconti will replace Rochi. Blitzarves to inbound. Of course, her 250th today. Laurie, you've had a bit to do with her over the journey in the Blitzarves family.
I have. It started off a long time ago when I actually, when I first started coaching, her mom, Karen Ogden at the time, Augie we called her, she played for me when I coached the Bulleen Boomers. And, oh, sorry, not Bulleen, Nuttawading, when Nuttawading had a team, the Nuttawading Spectres. And best turnaround baseline jump shot in the competition at the time. And then obviously Sarah, she's followed in her mother's footsteps. I coached Sarah in the Victorian under-20 team, and then when I was assisting with Dandenong, and she's such a positive, uplifting person, Sarah is. She's always got a great attitude. She works hard. She had a major injury and had to work really hard to get herself back, and has had some disappointments, has been on the fringe of the Opals, and then was able to get the call up to Tokyo and played there, and then obviously had a big role to play when Beck Allen went down in the World Cup, recent World Cup. So she's had a wonderful career, and to have her play her 250th today is really good, and I'm really proud of her. I'm really happy for her.
Jackson nearly on the follow. And you're right, Laurie, she was, in the end, a crucial part of that bronze medal team in Sydney after the departure of Allen with the injury. Burrell no good on the layup. Poch. Corner three goes for Nadia Poch.
We know she can shoot those. There's been a couple of games. In fact, the last time that they played each other when she had 16 points, she nailed a couple of those threes. And again, we talk about an outstanding young up-and-coming player, Nadia Poch. She is one of those players to take note of.
Thornton will replace Jackson, and she has forced her way into this rotation for the Flyers. You spoke of it being, 10 deep. Not easy to get high minutes for this Flyers team, and Nadia Poch has proven that she simply needs to be played for Cheryl Chambers' team.
Well, I mentioned that to Cheryl today when I was speaking to her, just how I think she's done a great job of managing everybody's minutes. Nobody on their team plays 30 minutes plus. They're all, it's between sort of that 28, 29, and then the bench players sort of between 12 and 18. So it's she goes legitimately, as I said, 10 deep when Amy Rochi's suiting up.
It's astute of you, Laurie. Beck Cole leads the way in minutes per game with 29 for the Flyers. So Thornton to the line. Drawing foul on that drive to the rack.
And that might play a part when it comes towards the very latter, the pointy end of the season, because you've got that accumulative fatigue. Players have played a lot of minutes over a long period of time, and it's for teams that don't quite have as much depth as the Flyers, and that's what you hope that the players that are on the bench get some. And I said to her, they're not only getting minutes, but they're getting minutes in crucial parts of the game, not just in when there's a blowout either way. Very important.
Burrell down low. Tonks well defended from Blitzarves, but Munger rips it from Poch and scores.
Great second effort by Munger, just being there, being aware of the ball, what it's doing.
Bishop. Blitzarves, space to fire, top of the keyway. Blitzarves has 12 in the ball game now. Leading scorer for the Flyers. Now an 18-point margin. Capitals starting to lose touch here as the third quarter comes to a close.
Can I say the leading rebounder for the Flyers is Maddie Rochi, smallest player on the court.
She's got 8. Followed by Kayla Thornton with 6. No player with more than 4 rebounds for the Capitals. 2 offensive as well for Maddie Rochi on the O-glass. So Jade Melbourne to the line, makes on the first.
Jade Melbourne shoots her free throws at 82%.
This their 13th and 14th free throws of the contest, the Capitals. They do get to the line at a high rate, one of their strengths. Less than 60 seconds to go in this third quarter. Thornton. An offensive foul. 4th personal. And we might see her head to the pine to finish this period.
Munger just stood her ground there. She is, smaller than Thornton. Thornton, we know, is a strong body and was wheeling and dealing in there, and she just stood her ground and was able to collect that charge.
Munger's been good today defensively. We spoke off the top about really almost a 4-guard lineup, really, for the starters for the Capitals, and the need for someone to help cover this massive front court for the Flyers. And Munger's sort of been one of those players who's been able to do that, Laurie.
Well, she has. She's been really impressive in to be able to throw her against some of those bigger players. She's only, 178 centimeters versus Kayla Thornton, who's much taller than that. So she's done a great job at having to defend and sort of pinch hit at the 4 spot.
Could convert that time on the offensive end. Conti with the rock for the Flyers. Thornton For three, that goes. Brings it out to a 19-point margin. Looks to have had a foot on the line.
Yeah, I think just her toe was on the line.
So shot clock off. Melbourne. Can the Capitals come up with a response? Munga pulls up from the free-throw line. Won't do it. So the Flyers, 55, lead the UC Capitals, 36 at the end of three here. Just blowing it out through the final 4 minutes there of the third quarter, Laurie.
I thought at one point the Capitals might have had a chance of getting it under 10. I think it was a 12-point margin, but the Flyers, a good team. They steadied it. They knew where their shots were coming from. They're in a little bit of foul trouble right now with 2 players on 4 fouls with Thornton and Potch. But really, they've got so many weapons inside and out. They knew when to put their foot on the pedal.
Capitals had a 3-point attempt halfway through the third that would have brought it back to 9. Since then, the Flyers, it's been all their way. Jade Melbourne had a good period. She's got 9 points in the ball game. And Jackson has 6 as well. There's that Potch triple. She's got 4 personals in 12 minutes. Capitals in the yellow strip today with the clash with the Flyers blue. And Kayla Thornton, again, statistically, it's been sort of more of the same from her, but once again, a crucial figure here. 4 assists in the ball game as well for Kayla Thornton. And the assist numbers in particular, Laurie, stand out.
Well, the assist numbers, and also if you look at the 3-point shooting, the Capitals are just at 15%. So having said that, they need to keep driving it in. They're good foul shooters, as you mentioned. So see if they can get themselves to the foul line, or at least make the defense collapse on them and then kick it out to some open shooters that perhaps don't have the contested shot or pressure. But full credit to the Southside Flyers. When a team is shooting a low percentage, often it's due to the defense, and Cheryl Chambers would be super happy with keeping the Capitals at 36 points.
They've struggled from 3 today, the Capitals. 15%, and they'll have to back this effort up tonight on Friday in Sydney at Kudos Bank Arena against the Flames. Completing the season series against Sydney.
Well, the other thing, Liam, that, you know, trying to take some positives for Canberra is that they average 96 points a game against them. So to keep this potent Flyers team to 55 at 3 quarters, you know, that's a pretty good effort. Now, as long as it just doesn't blow out and they could keep it around the 70-point mark, but it's not going to happen when you let LJ go loose at the 3-point line.
Second triple goes for Jackson. And you're right, Laurie, they have been good through patches defensively, the Capitals. Melbourne, Conti, off the foot, says the referee. 22-point ball game. Flyers coming into this contest in 4th position. Fresh 14 for the Caps. Potch and Swain, 2 of the young stars of the Cygnett WNBL. Blitzarves switches on to Swain, steps back for 3, not that time. And a last touch, Munga. And they're starting to be a separation from the top 4 to the bottom 4, Laurie. Flyers, one of those teams thereabouts.
And when you have that separation, you know, relatively early in the season, and you know, by no means is it already set in stone, the top 4 and the bottom 4. But it's really important when you're a top 4 team that you take care of business of every team below you. So no slip-ups there. So, you know, Southside wouldn't have come into this game going, oh, Canberra are in 8th spot, they haven't won a game yet. They would come in this going, this is another important game, we've got to get it, we've got to count this as a win. You see the likes of Kalia there scoring, or Swain, sorry. That's you know, you've got to make sure nothing's easy for your opponents, and you respect everybody. So that's why we see this margin. They're you know, taking this game as seriously as any other game. But take care of business of the teams below you, and then you want to try and get that head-to-head of the teams that are sharing that top 4 position.
Pretty even at the moment through that group. Stays with the Caps.
Well, it is for the Southside interesting. They've played Townsville twice, and Townsville have got them, so they've already got the important head-to-head Townsville. So I'm sure, you know, when they play Southside and Bendigo, another 3.
Shanice Swain.
She's coming out on fire again. I love her game today.
She is up to 19. Second triple for Shanice Swain. She has been a shining light, Laurie. LJ down low, working on Bunton, creates space. Bunton with a stop. Jade Melbourne running the offense for Canberra. Britt Smart working hard to get open. Long range 2. And Monconti with a rebound. Good shift off the bench today for Monconti in 13 minutes. 5 assists, 2 steals. How have you seen her return to the WNBL, Laurie?
Oh, it doesn't look like she's missed a beat.
There's Potch with the tough take.
Nor has she missed a beat at all, but Conti's, you know, coming in from a great AFLW season and to play two sports at the elite level that she does, as does Tessa Levy. It's an incredible feat. Wow.
Shanice Swain, back-to-back triples from the wing. She's on fire here today. 22 now for her. You're right, it is an impressive feat, Laurie, what Monconti's been able to do.
But not only, you know, just what she's at the point guard position, so she has to run the team, so she has to know plays inside out. Nice finish, step back by Sarah Blitzovs. But back to Conti, she has to run the show out there as the point guard. So she's got to know the plays, she's got to know players' strengths and weaknesses, and what plays to call to what players. So it's a big ask, but like I said, she's just stepped in, no problem at all. Nice anticipation by Beck Cole on this play here, and a finish.
Makes it from the elbow, forces a timeout. 22-point lead to the Flyers here at the State Basketball Centre. Clinical performance from the home side. Beck Cole's got 9. And this fourth quarter timeout brought to you by Aussie Hoops. Plenty of youngsters in the crowd, as there always is at the State Basketball Centre. It's a great family outing here through the holiday season. And Aussie Hoops, if you're looking to get your youngster involved in basketball, is the perfect way to introduce them to the sport. For kids aged 5 to 10, there was over 42,000 kids this year who registered to a local Aussie Hoops centre nearby. So whether your little one is a seasoned basketball fan or looking for an introduction, with no doubt they'll have a ball of a time. Register now at aussiehoops.basketball to kickstart your journey. 6 minutes remaining here in this fourth quarter, Laurie Chiswick. Flyers starting to get in control.
It's unfortunate we haven't seen Schwagmeyer-Belger. We know she suited up, she warmed up, but this is the second game in a row that's been the case, but she just must not quite be ready to hit the court yet.
Might be a chance on Friday night versus the Flames. Been close on occasions with the Flames in their 2 outings. Of course, falling most recently by 15 as Ray Burrell had 27 in that ball game. Played just the 13 minutes so far in this contest, Ray Burrell. So Rochi comes back into the ball game for the Flyers. Smart has the Bunton screen, stops the dribble. Rochi trying to deny the handoff. Swain's got the hot hand and the Flyers know it. Smart pulls up for 3. Swain front position. And Rochi the other way for Southside.
Just not Britt Smart's night tonight. She's 0-4 right now.
Down low to Thornton. Out of the keyway. Potch tries to take Melbourne off the dribble. And it falls. Gets the call on Alex Bunton.
And the crowd likes that one. Great basket, great finish by Potch. It wasn't easy. She had a lot of contact in there, which she had to absorb and then make sure that her eyes were up in the target. You can see here, eyes up. Great finish.
Over the top of The length of Alex Bunton. Not worried as Potch makes it 8 points on the night. Melbourne. Now Burrell. Tonks as well off the pine. Probing, driving inside on Bishop. Hands it to Bunton. Poked out, they'll reset. 5 seconds, Melbourne, got to go. It's come off the foot of Tonks.
Now, I would give that turnover credit to Beck Cole. As Melbourne was driving baseline, she had just slightly beat her player. Beck Cole came charging over to the split line through. Melbourne then had to throw a pass to a receiver that wasn't quite ready. Turnover. Great job, Beck Cole.
Brocci and Melbourne retrieves it back from Bishop. The three-point arc. Brocci waits for the Thornton screen. Now Cole at the 45, driving inside the lane. Bishop, nice finds. Melbourne hit the deck, looks a little ginger. Thornton's up to 13. Munga steps out, mid-range two, falls into double figures now, Nicole Munga. So the Flyers 25-point leaders. There's Rocci for three.
Nice little horns action. The two bigs came high. Maddie Rocci used the screen. Player went under. We can be on a double-double watch for Maddie Rocci. 12 points, 9 rebounds.
Great effort from the point guard position. We're approaching halfway through the season now of the Cygnett WNBL. Munga for three. Rocci cleans it up. Flyers look moments away from improving to 7-3, Laurie. They're right in the top four, fourth at the moment, so very tight in the four. Tiebreaker going to be a factor, do you think, down the stretch for some of these teams?
Well, I think so. I think it has to be those top four teams are all really close. You know, Townsville, Bendigo defeated Townsville by only 2 points. You know, so it's going to come down to head-to-head. So you really want to make sure that, you know, you try and get 2 out of 3 wins against those other top four. And so right now, as I mentioned, Townsville already have the head-to-head against Southside, but still a long ways to go.
We won't see the Flyers again until the new year. They'll kick things off with the Melbourne Derby on the 4th of Jan at the Boombox. So that is going to be
a big one because Southside had already beaten Melbourne, as we said, but you know, we talk about it can't just be about the top four. We know that we've talked before how Adelaide, Perth, Sydney, even Canberra, they can take some of those games. They can play a part in forming how that's going to look, that top four. And I'm sure somebody like Adelaide, somebody like Perth, they still feel like they're in a chance. You know, they can knock off some of those top teams and you know, try and sneak in and get that 4th spot. So whilst we're talking about the top four and that, by no means is it set in stone.
Absolutely. You speak of Adelaide, we'll see them very shortly in the second game of tonight's doubleheader against Bendigo. Currently, they're losing touch at this stage with the four, but they look like a team that belongs in the mix as well.
They do. Their losses have been so close, and they've pushed these top teams. And so it'll be really interesting to see how Bendigo come out against them, because they're coming off a big loss. Adelaide are coming off some losses that have been so close. So it'll be interesting. But, you know, I like how the Capitals here are still fighting to the end. You know, they haven't thrown in the white towel. They're still going in strong. They're still hitting some shots. Good to see Carly Ernst on.
Munga with the triple. Just seen the 6 minutes of action so far for Carly Ernst today. He hit a 3 earlier in the contest. Conti as well has been great off the bench. They've got 17 bench points today, Southside. Bested only by the Capitals with 23, and that is largely due to Shanice Swain, who started the game on the bench. Has played effectively as a starter since with 22 on the evening. Rocci back out to Ernst.
Oh.
Makes it from the top. 2 from 2 from 3 for Carly Ernst. Ever efficient. 8 points in 6 minutes.
She might be trying to beat her 13 points in the 9.5 minutes that she played last game.
One of the league's elite three-point shooters, Carly Ernst. 54% from 3 so far this season.
It's good to see Georgia Pinot and Alana Hollingsworth on the court. They don't get many minutes, but you know they're there every single training, getting better, making their teammates better. So it's always nice to see them get a bit of court time.
Good opportunity for them. Ernst hands it back to Rochi. Ernst will fire once again. That one short. Tonks for Canberra. Less than 2 minutes to go now. Munga wanted the screen from Melbourne. Now she'll drive on Pinot, fading away. Munga. What a finish. 15 points. The sole starter in double figures for the Capitals. Conti. Ernst fading away from the block. Tried to go off the window. Jade Melbourne will call the shots. Rochi, easy call for the referee. So she's got 4 personals, Rochi. We might see Rochi head to the bench to complete her evening. She does have that double-double, Laurie Chiswick. 11 points, 10 boards. 5 assists as well.
Well, what's impressive is her 10 points, or 10, it's rebounds, not assists. You would always think Maddie Roch, if she was going to get a double-double, it'd be for assists.
Just the 2 turnovers as well. Great evening for her. Melbourne hits the deck.
We see number 12 for Southside. Griffiths is on the court for this last minute. I think that's why Rochi did that obvious foul to call, you know, get the clock stopped so that sub could be made.
That's a great point. So we've got 3 throws here for Jade Melbourne. Might have been an unsportsmanlike, missed the call up here, but Melbourne at the line. Now 4 of 6 from the free throw line today, Jade Melbourne.
Last time these teams met, it was a 92-72 scoreline, 20 points.
Great afternoon for the Flyers as Jackson returns to Canberra for the first time. Nearly 3,000 days in that one. Different looking Capitals lineup, quite literally this evening though. Wearing the yellow due to the uniform clash. If you joined us late, Melbourne loses it momentarily. Driving in the keyway, Tonks, good finish. So stick around because the second game of your doubleheader coming up very shortly for the Cygnett WNBL. Conti, nice pass down low to Holly Griffiths. She'll back it out. Here's Hollingsworth at the free throw line. Foul call. Southside have won the rebounding column today quite convincingly, 42-28. Conti with the fresh 14. Into Ernst. Handoff. Ernst down low. Pizzi picks it off. Conti's there. Griffiths thought about the 3. At the elbow, she throws it up. No good.
Not sure if she thought that was a shot or a pass into Georgia Pinot.
Burrell. Melbourne.
Last shot of the game for the Capitals.
Burrell to the rack, no good. So that will do it. The Flyers 76 defeat the Capitals 53 at the State Basketball Centre. A clinical second half performance, Laurie Chiswick.
It certainly was, and the Flyers now continue on their good form. That had a great win against Bendigo, a great win against Capitals now, so they'll be feeling really good, but a really wide contribution between all their players. Again, 3 of their starters in double figures. Beck Cole, Lauren Jackson, 9 each. It was just a great team effort. When you look at 21 assists for the game, to me that says it all when it comes to what they're bringing as a team, where they're finding each other, their open looks, their better shots.
They had 3 players in double figures, the Flyers. It was Blitzarves with 14, Kayla Thornton 13 points. The double-double for Maddie Roshi. And for the Capitals, well, it was the starring youngster of Shanice Swain, 22 points, 50% from the field and 4 steals. A shining light in this performance, Laurie.
And I certainly thought that Munger tried gallantly at both ends of the court. She had ended up with 15 points and 5 rebounds. But I thought it was just the fact that she had to guard some bigger bodies in Thornton, in Jackson sometimes, and because they went a little bit more small ball, because we know that Whittle Harmon wasn't playing, and she battled hard all night.
She did, no doubt about it. A 3-ball there. Ray Burrell, quite a evening for her, 2 points, 0 of 5 from the field. Southside led the rebounding column, 7 offensive. Capitals cleaned that up somewhat in the second half. But in the end, undermanned here once again, the Capitals struggled shooting from the field, and right on their season average of 21 assists for the Flyers. Did what they needed to improve to 7-3 on the season.
And you can see points in the paint, 30, so they mix it up between that shooting prowess from the outside, but also have the luxury of going inside to the likes of Jackson, Thornton, Blitzarves. 9 points in the ball game for Lauren Jackson, and stick around because the Lightning and the Spirit not far away from the Adelaide 36ers arena here on ESPN. Thank you very much for joining us on 9 Now here for this one. The Capitals, well, their 2022 is not over yet. They'll play the Flames Friday night at Kudos Bank Arena. And for the Flyers, they'll have to wait until January 4th as they head to Parkfield to take on the Melbourne Boomers. That is going to be a game to watch. Of course, the rest of round 8 as well. Perth and Adelaide, 2 of the deadly teams outside of the 4. And New Year's Eve, Laurie, that's going to be fantastic. The Fire and the Boomers. Oh, the fireworks will be going off on that night for sure. Townsville, up in Townsville, it'll be hot, and they will both be fighting for that win over each other.
That is going to be a ripper. 2 of the highest scoring teams in the league, the Boomers and the Fire. Thank you very much for joining us, Liam Ellison and Laurie Chiswick, bringing this one to you. It was a 22-point win to the Flyers.